Hello and welcome to episode 50 of the Craving Crypto podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about some tips for recovering on losses from the bear market. So let's get right into this. We are literally having trading pattern mania right now, you guys. This is trading patterns within trading patterns. This rising wedge had a baby with the symmetrical triangle. Now we've got a baby symmetrical triangle stuck inside of an inverse head and shoulders pattern. And inside of the head of the inverse head and shoulders pattern, you have a baby inverse head and shoulders pattern right here. Not to mention the fact that the left shoulder also had an inverse head and shoulders pattern play out to create the rising wedge that then had the babies that we are now seeing right now. So this is literally just a matrix of geometry and trading patterns right and left in the total market cap, you guys, and it is beautiful. So what I would like to see is a bull break out of this triangle that we have now kind of formed right here over this consolidation pattern. Now that we've started to get some structure in the market and it's bounced off this and then came back down and bounced and came back down and bounced. So I would like to see this, to see a bull break above the 211 level, and that's going to take us to that 240 level that I talk about over and over. And then you guys, the bear perspective is that we could have an aggressive sell-off down to 176 if we see a support failure of firstly the 207 level and secondly the 197 level. Those are our two major support levels that if we breach those, it's likely we'll trigger a downside event to 176 billion in total market cap. So you guys, overall, this is pretty standard movement for the market cap, this type of consolidation. It's also very standard to have consolidation like this as you start to curl up for the beginning of a new market cycle. Not to mention the fact that a bunch of altcoins are starting to pop off on coinmarketcap.com. We've been noticing different ones, names that people haven't even really heard about sometimes, just coming up, taking the spotlight, taking market capitalization. So there's trading conditions coming back across the market, which is another good sign for the bigger picture kind of move. And you guys, I know I show the total market cap always in this really small time frame right here, but if we zoom back and just look at what's happened since the beginning of the year and since the cycle really started, this is a very expansive process, contractive process. And this is what I talk about when I say sine wave market cycles, you guys. You can just come over here, you take your sine tool, you go from where the cycle started, and then you go from where the top of the cycle was, and you see this part starts to curl. This is really where the sine wave is curling right here, is directly where the inverse head and shoulders pattern is starting to form. Now, I don't want to go into the bigger time frames and show you all of that just because it'll just look weird with all my drawing right here, and I want to keep this on this computer with this drawing. But you guys just understand that that's a sine wave cycle, so as it's curling back up in the big picture, we're getting a momentum shift, an exhaustion of selling pressure, a curling action towards upside. So you guys, that sine wave starting to play out, the trading patterns are starting to play out. Let's see if they do play out as I suspect them to, get above those resistance and start taking off. So that's my TA for the total market cap. Now let's go over here and check out what's going on with our top mover for the day. We have Electroneum up 20% today, which is awesome. Let's go ahead and look through here. We also have, yeah, looks like Electroneum is our spotlight for the day. So let's go check out the TA. We've been looking at this one because the spotlight, as you guys know, has given us a lot of interesting ones to watch and pay attention to. This one is starting to look really good. This is called a one wave. In Elliott wave theory, this would be a standard one Elliott wave cycle. Now, I'm just going to switch to the 12-hour time frame here so we can zoom out just a little bit here. And to count the waves of this setup that we're seeing, this would be a 1 and a 2 wave. This is going to be your 3 and your 4. And that will be your 5th wave. And then this did an ABC correction. I bet you down to the .618 Fibonacci support. Let me see if my eyes treat me well. Yes, a perfect bounce off the 618 level. This is very common when you see the first wave in a new market cycle. They'll go up, they'll go really high like this, and they'll retrace to the 618. Now, there's two counts that this can be. This can be an ABC like this, and then we do a 3-wave, or this could be the first wave inside of a bigger ABC, where it does this, A, and we're making the B wave right now, and we need to do a C down to the .786, or even the 88% retracement. That does happen on 1 waves. Sometimes you'll see a 1 wave that just retraces really hard because of the nature of 1 waves, because it's the first reversal, so there's still a lot of selling pressure left from the sell phase of the cycle. Overall, I would suspect that the first count is correct, that this is going to be the bottom of that wave, and that we can start to see a new wave coming in here for electronium. If that is the case, you guys can take the trend-based Fibonacci tool, and because Elliott wave theory has rules, Fibonacci relationships, we can get a projection of targets for the 3-wave and the 5th wave out of the relationship based of the 1 wave to the 2. So we can suspect that at least the 1618 is going to get hit, because the rule of Elliott's is that the 3-wave has to be at least bigger than the 1 wave. So that means it's going to be bigger than a 1-to-1 extension. So the 1.618 is bigger. And that's going to be your 3, your 4. And your 5 is going to stop in between the 1.6 and the 2.6 is generally kind of what you see with those fib relations here. And that would be the Elliott wave cycle, and this is going to do an ABC after that we kind of see playing out with electronium. So that's my analysis on the top mover for the day. I hope that you guys appreciate that. This one is starting to look really good. If it gets a 3-wave action, it's going to do a new short-term high right here and start eating up into these thicker resistance zones that we see over here in the past. This was a big one right here. Let me just, did not mean to get the entire screen. This was a big, screwing up right and left here, you guys, like a professional. Okay, here we go. There we go. All right. Here's our resistance levels that I would suspect that we eat up into for this next wave on the upside with electronium. So for the lesson of the day, we're going to be talking about some tips on recovering from losses in the bear market. A lot of this is a mindset game, but it's really important to have your mindset in, because if you do not get a clear head right now, set your goals for yourself, set your intention, put yourself on the right kind of frequency. When things get really hectic and you're intoxicated by the amount of money flowing into the markets, you won't be making very level-headed decisions. So actually the corrections are some of the best times to be able to come to terms with yourself as a trader, learn through all of your mistakes and all of those things so that you come back in the intoxicating bull markets of euphoria and you have a level head, because you have the contrast. You've been through the winter, so you know how good the summer feels. But if you've only lived through winters, you don't know the difference. So that's kind of what happens with these bear markets. So the first thing that I would like to teach you is the same thing that my mother taught me when I was learning piano at 8 years old, which is a rule of my family. You have to learn piano at 8 years old, no questions about it. So my mom was teaching me piano, and she's like, well, Dallin, you know, just play the notes. Don't worry about if you're playing the right note. Worry about if you're playing on rhythm, and also try to play the right notes. But primarily focus on your rhythm at the start. And if you make a mistake, if you play the wrong note, that's okay. So the very first thing that I was taught was that mistakes are okay, that you can learn from them, to focus on your technique instead of the mistake that you were presented, you know, or that came because you didn't do it right. So it is 100% about being okay with that, being okay with your mistakes that you're making. You're gonna make them, I make them, we all make them. So do not look at that as a reason to give up. Look at it as an opportunity to grow. So that is the #1 thing that you have to understand when you're trying to recover on losses, because that will help you accept yourself and you'll be able to move on to the next steps from here. So the #2 is it's all a mindset, and you just really have to accept the fact that this is the way things are. You can't make the world have only bull markets. That's not the way that the world works. There's expansive, contractive processes. This is found in nature, the way that things expand, the way that energy is transferred back and forth. It's a fundamental laws of the universe. So you have to accept that, and then just focus on making and creating that long-term, that lasting wealth. Don't be stuck on the short term. Don't be thinking get rich quick, which is, this goes along with number 3. It's kind of a similar thing here. Just focus on that long-term wealth, that lasting, that golden eggs that stay, right? You don't destroy your goose. You keep the golden eggs because you're learning the techniques, you're learning to be disciplined, and you're thinking big picture. You're focusing on the long term and on the lasting wealth, and not what happened because of a crazy euphoric state. Like, you guys, you can't get mad at yourselves. If you are part of the cryptocurrency markets, you literally got in front of the biggest bubble in history, the biggest market cycle, the biggest hype phase, the quickest that has ever happened in human history. Nothing like that had ever happened before. So if you got too excited, if you were overinvested and you lost money because of it, like, beating yourself up is so stupid. Like, literally, you have to understand that, first of all, there's going to be other markets down the road. There's going to be more cycles like crypto. There's going to be other new innovative technologies that create hype cycles and quote unquote bubbles like this. So you can't be like, oh no, I screwed up on the only one. First of all, this one is going to come back. And second of all, there's going to be more down the road. So don't beat yourself up about that. And then number 4, since number 3 went along with 2, and when we talked about don't get stuck in the short term, is to play the big picture moves and surrender yourself to the market. So what I mean by that is, like with Electronium, you guys, did you see how I saw this one wave? Some people would take their profits right here, it started to drop, and then they'd go worry about something else, right? And it's okay to take some of your profits here, but what I'm saying by play the big swings is, I'm talking about literally go to the 12-hour, the 1-day time frames, zoom out to where you can see the all-time low and the all-time high, and play the big cycle. Like, sell at the major resistance points. Don't get stuck like selling really early. And I've talked about this in a couple episodes back along with some of the other pointers. So this is a lot of stuff that we've been learning recently. But that is just so important. I can't drill it into you guys enough. Do not get out too early. Play these big swings. Keep a little bit in for the long term if it goes for new all-time highs. And surrender yourself to the markets. Yes, it's dropped a lot, but don't be scared of the fact that it dropped a lot and think, oh no, I'm too scared. I don't want to take the risk. It might not go back up ever again because I got so burnt from that and I'm so down on losing my money. And you've just had this terrible mindset. It's always goes right back to the mindset thing. If you are not looking at it in a way of learning, growing, it's just going to eat at you. So yeah, you guys, think like that. Make sure that you surrender yourself to the markets. Do not be scared of them because we all got burnt from the bear market. Like, don't be scared of them because of that. And then number 5 is think like somebody that is learning to master a skill. You have to be able to practice trading habits and create consistent discipline and good habits in your life. Now, people hear that and they're like, oh, it's consistent discipline. I'm going to go watch somebody else. I'm here to tell you guys the truth, and discipline is a good thing. It's one of the most positive things you can ever do in your life, to get good at a skill, to be disciplined at a certain skill, and have that feedback from your community, from people that see that you're providing value and you're providing value back to them, to have something that you're good at and you can share and teach it to other people. That is so empowering. So discipline isn't something, you know, public schooling systems and just like the education system in general kind of make discipline something that's like scary, or like people hear it and they're like, I don't want to do that anymore. But do not look at that. It goes right back to it's all a mindset thing. Discipline can be one of the most beautiful things ever. Do you really think that Michael Jordan, do you really think that the best of the best, the people that are at the top of whatever their fields are, whoever it is in any field, you know, you could name it, I don't care what it is, I promise you they are empowered because of the discipline that it took to create that skill. And they love it. They're glad they did it. It's not something that they look at and they're disappointed, or they look at it and it's a stressful thought. So don't be scared of discipline. And it's okay to make mistakes. Just don't make the same ones twice too often. that will generate kind of a sloppy, just ease mindset. Your human brain is developed to create the most pleasure with the minimum amount of pain. So like if you start to create a lot of bad habits, you might get the dopamine pleasure and the release of trading because you see all these coins pumping and it's really exciting to see that. So you're going to get the pleasure, but if you're not taking the time to be disciplined and actually push yourself so that you're going through a little bit of pain, which means opening up an Excel sheet, tracking yourself, learning this stuff, watching videos like this. If you're not going through like a little bit of pain, it's not going to work out for you. So make sure that you're okay to go through that discipline, that pain, those good habits. Don't make the same mistakes twice. Do not let your body get stuck in those over pleasure with no pain mindset. Work around that. Be aware of that side of you and that natural nature within yourself. It's literally how you are programmed from a fundamental level up and how your brain functions on a neurochemical level. So awareness is the only thing you can do to become better than that and be greater because of it. And then last but not least, and this is one of the most important things, you guys, I practice this every day in so many areas in my life, and it is to create emotional drive within yourself. If you are not hyped enough, if you're not excited enough, if you don't really feel that energy, you're not going to do it. You're just going to give up. If there's not that feeling inside of you, that drive, that passion, that fire, that fuel, which can be created, by the way. Some of it's going to be natural. If you like something, you're going to feel that naturally, but you can create and spark that. If you guys want me to make a video about just creating personal fuel in yourself, comment down below right now and let me know. I would love to educate you guys more on that area. But just create that personal drive within yourself. And the easiest way, one of the top things to do, is to visualize how amazing it would be if things were right. So think about the car that you want. Think about the respect that you would have for people, the good that you could do for people, the way that people will look at you, your experiences, how much love you're going to be getting. Think about all the positive aspects of achieving the goal that you want, of becoming financially free and getting that success in the cryptocurrency markets. And then think about how disappointed in yourself you would be if you came back 10 years from now and you saw that if you would have invested $1,000, you could have had 100,000 or $1 million, just because of the percentage gains that a lot of these coins are very likely to do in the future. So you guys, it's all about weighing that in with yourself and then just getting excited, being like, yeah, I want the other side. I can do this. I know I can. If you build that within yourself, it will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. That right there is more powerful than pretty much anything you can do. If you create that emotional drive within yourself, you will change not only your life, but the people around you, because you'll experience so much growth from whatever you're doing that you'll want to share it with them as well. So that's the last thing. Create emotional drive within yourself. That is so powerful, you guys. Again, if you want me to talk about that in like a separate video, and go into more details about how you could apply that to trading, and you could use the same methods in your own life in other areas, let me know in the comments down below. But that is the lesson for the day, you guys. So click these charts if you want to view the TA for the day. We've got the Binance sign up link if you want to do altcoin trading. I love this exchange. You can use my referral link. Coinergy for technical analysis on altcoins. BitMEX for leverage trading on Bitcoin. My Bitcoin address, if you like what I'm doing, you can send donations that way. And my VIP course and trading. Signals if you want to start profiting in the cryptocurrency markets today and leapfrog your learning. Click on the website right there and get started today. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in today's episode. I hope that you learned something. If you have any questions at all, drop them in the box below. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video. As always, stay profitable out there.